Hello, everybody, and welcome into Commodity Culture, where we break down commodities markets, sound money principles, and geopolitics, all with the goal of making you a better investor in the commodities sector. My name is Jesse Day. Today is January 14th, 2026, and I'm thrilled to welcome Gerald Celente to the program, a world-renowned trend forecaster, best-selling author, and the publisher of the Trends Journal. Gerald thinks we're in for an absolutely wild 2026 that includes the continued parabolic rise of gold and silver, expanding global conflict, and a potential major crash in the stock market. We dive into what he sees ahead and get his brutally honest take on a potential war with Iran, the abduction of Nicolas Maduro, whether Greenland is next in Trump's crosshairs, and so much more. If you love silver, get your Commodity Culture Stack Silver, Not Fiat t-shirt backed by 100% quality guarantee. Link in the description. And now, my friends, strap yourselves in, put the kids to bed, pour yourself an adult beverage, and get ready for my conversation with Gerald Celente. Gerald Celente, great to have you back on Commodity Culture. 2026 has already started with a bang on the geopolitical stage. I want to start with your assessment of the current situation in Iran. X is flooded with accounts proclaiming that the U.S. needs to intervene, save the poor Iranians, and restore democracy and freedom in the country. It's a narrative as old as time, and yet it seems like many are buying it. How do you see this all playing out? Are we on the precipice of a U.S. attack on Iran?
It's hard to say, but you got to go back. Tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, to see where we're going. And by the way, it's not BS. This is some of my books. Trend tracking, far better than Megatrends Time magazine. Trends 2000, international bestseller. You got to go back to see how this thing began. So we're talking about Iran. And in this book, again, this is 1989, I wrote it. I became a political atheist when the United States tried to stop the overthrow of the government run by the dictator over there called the Shah in Iran. This is like late 1970s. People had no idea. They taught us to hate Iran as the people were trying to overthrow the Shah. The United States overthrew the government of Mohammad Mossadegh in Iran in 1953. A little scumbag that every little clown, jerk, moron, imbecile looks up to. Winston Churchill. Yeah, that arrogant little rich bastard that gave us World War I and World War II, but couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. And another slimeball little piece of scum crap, Theodore Roosevelt's great-grandson, Kermit Roosevelt. You could look it up. The CIA and the MI6 overthrew the democratically elected government of Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953 because that dirty bastard said, hey, this oil in Iran, it belongs to the Iranian people, not Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP. Yeah, British pricks, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. The oil belongs to the American people. No, it doesn't. Look up the facts. They didn't release the data until 2017. That's right. The CIA and the MI6 overthrew the government and brought in the Shah. And not only did they bring in the Shah, they brought in the Savak, the secret police, that made the SS look good. Slaughtering people, taking over the government. So when the revolution happened, it was real. And that little clown boy that other imbeciles and morons look up to, Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer with a penis probably as big as a peanut, or a pair of cojones to be proper, to try to overthrow try to stop the revolution. Yeah. You know what was going on? They said, get out of our country. We don't want you here anymore. You're not going to tell me to leave out your country. That's why it became a religious and an extreme movement. It wasn't like that in the beginning. It was because the United States refused to leave. So now let's go back. So after they overthrow the Shah, the government's going up. And another little piece of scum crap that people look up to, the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama. That's right. The little lying bastard that lied his way into office as a peace president, and as soon as he comes in, it's the Afghan troop surge. Oh, you forgot about that one, huh? I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. I want that guy Assad out of there. Yeah, that little clown boy. He put sanctions on Iran. Yep. And their economy starts going down. Then he makes a deal with them. Yeah, you got to sign this deal over here. You won't build a nuclear weapon. Okay. They let it off. Then Trump comes in. That's right. Put sanctions on when he became president in 2016, 2017, puts more sanctions on Iran. Their economy starts going down. Economy starts going down. Again, this is all about, what do I care about Iran? Oh, how about Netanyahu, the murderer genocide chief over there in Israel? Yeah. Oh, they attacked Iran, didn't they? This is all about the United States, Israel, wanting to put down Iran. End of story. Now, the word is not my word, but others like Scott Ritter and a number of others. They say this is being pushed by Mossad and the United States. And by the way, Iran is saying the same thing. They're saying that this movement is being pushed by the United States and Mossad. You could go to Press TV, which is the Iranian station, and they're saying those words, not mine. And this is from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. Trump administration warned Saudis, Gulf countries to prepare for U.S. strike on Iran. All right? What business is that of mine as an American? Oh, this is the draft dodger Trump. I'm the same age as Trump. Yeah, I was a draft dodger too. I didn't want to get my brains blown out in the Vietnam War. But I got to make this clear. As a young guy, I was stupid enough to believe the crap that they were selling. If we don't stop those Vietnamese, they're going to, the dominoes will keep falling. They'll take over all of Asia. And before you know it, the dominoes will be falling on the shores of California. As a young kid, I believed that crap. So that's why I tried to beat the draft, which I did. But Trump is a draft dodger, but he loves war. I hate war. I launched a movement called Occupy Peace over a decade ago, so I put my money where my mouth is. So going on to this, when did Trump bomb Iran the last time? Oh, it was over the weekend when the markets were closed. When did he kidnap Maduro over there in Venezuela? Oh, over the weekend when the markets were closed. So watch for an attack over the weekend. And when it's going to come, time only tells. And if there's a thing called the Samson option. If Israel feels that they're losing against Iran, they go nuclear. Look it up. SAMSON. And that'll be the beginning of the end of life on earth. This is serious. These are the Persians. There's 91 million of them. They're very advanced scientifically, militarily, and technologically. Verse 7 million Israelis. You don't have to be good at math to figure this out. You know, New Millennium Warfare. Again, this is a international best-selling book, Trends 2000. Back in 2000, Virginia Military Institute brought me over there. That's right, VMI. You know why? To talk about New Millennium Warfare. I'm going back 26 years ago. I said, planes, tanks, boats, they don't mean anything anymore. New Millennium Warfare is going to be a whole different game. They didn't have drones back then. It's a whole different warfare. And he asked this cat by the name of Albert Einstein, who knew a thing or two about the atomic bomb. They asked him, what kind of weapons will be used to fight in the Third World War? He said, I don't know, but they'll be using sticks and stones to fight the fourth. So going back to where we are, where we're going, and how we got there, that's what's going on. And that's why you're seeing gold and silver prices spiking to levels that are telling you how bad the socioeconomic and geopolitical conditions are. Again, I've been doing this since 1978, buying gold. And what happened back then, the Iranian and then inflation, nothing compared to what's going on now. Because back then, America was number one. China, you know what China's GDP was back then? Country back then of probably about 1 billion people. $149 billion. That's right. That's it. You know what it is today? Officially, it's 20 trillion. But when you put the real numbers in, it's more like 28 trillion. The BRICS control 40% of the world's gross domestic product. The world has had enough, much of the world, of United States geopolitical and economic hegemony. The death of the dollar has begun. That's why you're seeing gold prices and silver prices spike the way they are.
The sponsor of today's episode is ARC Silver Gold Osmium. Owner Ian Everard is praised even by his competitors as one of the most honest and level-headed bullion dealers in the United States. They have some great prices. You can see some of them displayed right now on screen. Take advantage of these specials today by reaching out to Ian at 307-264-9441 or by email at ian@arcsgo.com. Make sure to tell him, of course, that Commodity Culture sent you. And now, back to the interview. I want to get to gold and silver in a moment, but I want to circle back to the start of the year. We've had so many events happen. The abduction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Trump bringing him back to the U.S. under arrest, supposedly, although that breaks all sorts of international laws. Trump has been pretty adamant recently. This is all about the oil. He's kind of dropped the drug trafficking pretense at this point.
Bullshit, yeah.
What do you think the real motivation behind this move was? And do you think Mossad was also involved in that operation?
You know, I don't know. They say they are. But again, you know, in the Bronx, we have an expression we used to say, bullshit has its own sound. And when Trump started this crap about this narco-terrorism bullshit and killing innocent people in violation of international law, bombing these little boats that are 1,500 miles away from the United States, they'd have to refuel about 5 times to get here. But anyway, we say there's a lot of crap. Let's go back to 2019, 2020. Anybody Google it up? Donald Trump's State of the Union address. That's right. He goes, this is the real president of Venezuela. You know what he called Maduro back then? A socialist dictator. Hey, had nothing to do with drugs. And they bring this little clown boy, a little boy of nothing. Juan Guaido, Trump says, this is the real president. Has him there. And all the little clown boys and girls called Congress, and that's spelled Congrass, Congress, all stand up and give this Guaido a round of applause. This is the real president of Venezuela. That's what Trump's saying back then. Everybody forgot about it. Again, we wrote about it in the Trends Journal as it was happening. You think, as I say, you think the United States would have invaded Iraq, Libya, and Syria if their major export was broccoli? Trump is now saying it's oil and he's going to control it. This is disgusting. And no outrage. No outrage. And if you come out against it, man, it's will ICE come in here and melt me down? Look what they're doing. They're beating up women. Look what they're doing. This country's turned to shit, man. It has been shit, but Trump makes it clearer. We had genocide Joe Biden before him, remember? They're one after another. Little Georgie Bush with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, if he has any at all. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. 90% of the people swallowed the crap as he stole trillions of dollars of our money in the name of taxes to keep the war going, to pump up the military-industrial complex and kill a couple 100,000 people.
Yeah, it seems whoever you vote for, nothing changes. I'm very surprised that people still haven't caught on to that. I want to get your thoughts on Greenland because that seems to be the next landmass in Trump's crosshairs, with him declaring that the U.S. will take that region one way or another. Do you think the U.S. would actually go ahead with a military invasion and capture Greenland at this point? Do you think they're trying to coerce Denmark to give it up in some kind of financial deal? We've seen, Macron, and I know you love that guy. He's been talking about, well, if Trump does anything, there's going to be grave consequences, and that the EU or Denmark is deploying some sort of military troops in Greenland in response. How do you see this all shaking out?
It's a guessing game. You don't know. And he keeps saying his stuff and they keep doing it, and he does what he wants. Here, this is his quote. The New York Times asked if there are any limits to his global powers. They asked him. And Trump said, yeah, there is one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that could stop me. I don't need international law. All right? Heil Trump. My own mind. It's the only thing that could stop me. Your own mind. How about if you're wrong? No, it's my mind. All right? All right? You know, I used to teach close combat. Had school for many years. And you can look up Bradley Steiner. He was the top close combat guy. He used to write for my magazine, The Trends Journal. He passed away, may he rest in peace. My teacher, John Perkins, learned from him. The first thing we learned in close combat, the only time your ego gets into place is when your life is on the line. That's it. That's my ego. You don't F with me. This is pure ego when you say, my own morality, my own mind, it's the only thing that can stop me. Pure ego. Facts don't mean shit. Well, people may say data facts, don't care. Hey, it's my mind. I'm right. This is why I had lunch with his brother, Robert, back in 2017. He had a restaurant across, I'm up in Kingston, New York, Owen Wasaic, which is across the river, east of here. The brother went on to tell me that when the father died, I think it was the father died like in 2002, that he left the family over $500 million, all right? He's nothing more than a spoiled daddy's boy. I'm the same age as Trump. One of my books, you could get this by going to Trends Research. Everything I've written is my favorite. What Zidzi gave Honey Boy. Zidzi is the Neapolitan dialect for auntie. Z is aunt. Zidzi is your auntie. She used to call me Honey Boy. I write in the book how I was the youngest of 5. Grew up in the Bronx right after the war, man. America's at the height. Couldn't control me. Used to tell me, used to tie me to the crib with nylon stockings. I'm out the window. I ran away from kindergarten, 4.5 years old, across the Boston Post Road in the Bronx, which was the major artery back then between New York and Boston. Anyway, the greatest threat they used to give me, you little bastard, we had enough of your shit, you're going to military school. I'll be good. I'm a teenager. I like chicks, cars, sports. My mother, may she rest in peace, a great Italian cook. I'm going to eat this crappy food, get dressed up in a costume, time to go to bed, time to get up. Trump was so narcissistic, this rich kid, they sent him to military school. Yeah, look it up. Cornwall, New York. Imagine middle of nowhere. They sent him to military school because he was so narcissistic they couldn't control him. And that's who he is now. So this is serious. So you ask me what he's going to do? And we do top trends every year. Last year when he got elected, we had wild card. But been at this again, writing the magazine since 1991. Never did we have wild card as a top trend. Anything can happen. Anytime, any place. Hey, will Cuba be next? Will Honduras be after that? Hey, about the Panama Canal. I want to get that back. We stole it before. I want it again.
Well, speaking of top trends, you recently released your top trends of 2026 edition of the Trends Journal. I want to run through a few of them. First up, precious metals to shine on. You alluded to it earlier. Gold and especially silver had a tremendous run in 2025. Both metals hitting new all-time highs. Here in 2026, silver over $90 an ounce as we're speaking right now. How much higher could we go here? And what are the catalysts that you see driving the metals? Is it mostly this geopolitical uncertainty?
Yeah. And economic, socioeconomic. Again, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here to see where we're going. Let's go back 6 years ago, just about now. What happened in China? The COVID war. Yeah. The cover of our magazine, January 28th, 2020. Coronavirus. 106 dead in China. Next line, 1.4 billion still alive. All right? Why did they do it? I used to be on Hong Kong TV back in 2019. There were protests going on everywhere. Over 1 million people were taken to the streets to stop China from taking over, because the deal they made when the British finally left was that Hong Kong would be a free state for 40 years. That was the deal. Beijing said, no, now we're in control. Over 1 million people out of 7.5 million were taken to the streets. I'm on a show live, take a break. I say, Frank, what's going on? Mr. Celente, we're not going to stop. We're not going to let them do it. They couldn't stop the people. All of a sudden, they launched the COVID war. Boop, can't go out, get back in your house. Look at our top trends for 2020 that came out before this happened. New World Disorder. There were protests going on in South America, in Chile, all over South America, in Lebanon, in South Africa, in all over. The yellow vests in France, all over the world. People were taking to the streets because of lack of basic living standards, government corruption, crime, and violence. Yeah, facts are all there. COVID war happens, you can't go out. Oh, you remember the farmers out in India? No, I already forgot about that. They were all taking the streets. They couldn't get them in. Yeah. Can't go out into the street. Everything changed. So what happened? Going back. Gold, silver. What's driving prices up? Get back in your house. Don't go to work. Here's free money. 0 interest rates. Keep them negative over there in Europe. Negative in Japan. More free money. Oh, inflation starts skyrocketing. Oh, remember the little clowns? Remember the arrogant pieces of scum clowns? Powell, the Fed head, and Miss Facha Bruta, what's her name? Janet Yellen? Treasury Secretary? Oh, no. This isn't inflation. It's only temporary. It's only transitory. Yeah, in America, it's transgendatory now, all right? Anyway, they artificially propped up everything. That game is over. It's over. Everything's coming down. Germany, 2 years in recession. Largest economy, third largest economy in the world, largest in Europe, in recession. They didn't come out with the numbers for 2025 yet, but the estimate is it may grow 0.2%. Oh, and what are they doing? Hire Mertz. Oh, the BlackRock guy. We're building up our military. We have to stop those Russians. We only killed 27 million of them in World War II with Operation Barbarossa. So we're going to borrow $1 trillion to build up our defense. Right now, we're infrastructure, the old attack. All right, I'm not making this shit up. Why is gold going up? The economies are going to crap and the world is going to war. Safe haven asset, gold and silver. End of story. And silver, by the way, with this whole AI boom, a lot of the silver is used in all this stuff. And they need more of it. Cell phones, computers, all the AI stuff. And Like, let's say you got a gold ring and you don't want it anymore. You melt it down, right? You get the money for it. Oh, there are gold stockpiles, right? No silver stockpiles. So silver's also going up because of demand for use. Gold is going up because the death of the dollar's begun. Again, let's go back, put your trends together. Trump wants to sue this guy, Powell, the former Fed head. And in May, Powell's going to be out there. Let's go back to December 2018. The Dow Jones in the United States had its worst December since the Great Depression. That's right. What did Trump do? Well, he had just brought Powell in a little while ago, had Powell lower interest rates, lowered them in January. What happened? Markets went up 22% that year. Oh, and there was a repo crisis. Yeah. Same repo crisis is happening now. They're pumping tons of money in there to cover the banks that don't got the dough. Everybody forgot about the repo crisis that happened in September 2019 because the COVID war began in January of 2020. So it's all artificially propped up. The global economy is going down. The dollar's going down. And by the way, the lower interest rates go, which Trump is going to lower interest rates to artificially prop up the economy and the equity markets, the deeper the dollar falls. The deeper the dollar falls, the cheaper it is to buy gold and silver because they're both dollar-based. So as other currencies go up, they buy more as the dollar goes down.
Well, the next trend I want to discuss is dot-com bust 2.0. Many analysts on this show have been saying they expect a big drawdown in the broad market. At some point, we see all sorts of metrics that show us that the broad market is overvalued historically. Different people have different views on it, but I've heard everything from a 20% correction to 80%. How big do you think this bubble has gotten? And do you think it could burst this year?
Yes, it could burst. And again, we called it, was the cover of our Trends Journal magazine in February of last year when nobody talked about this. Dot-com bust 2.0. Again, trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. You don't invest all your dough in an infant that was born in 2022 that became public. Number two, some 50% of the United States gross domestic product in 2025 spending on AI. Number three, look at the debt levels and look at the income levels of the country, of the companies that are invested very heavily in it. It ain't working out. Also, as I said before, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. And one of my sayings is, opportunity misses those who view the world through the eyes of their profession. So you got to look at everything as much as you can. So this is a T-shirt that I did, and I'm getting back to AI, remember, when Bill Clinton ran for office in 1992. All right? Oh, and by the way, just to make it 1,000% clear, so I have that over here. No, here it is. Yeah, right. This is the way I feel about politicians, and you can get this T-shirt at Trends Journal. All right?
Love it.
In a country near you. You get this too. Anyway, going back, Bill Clinton. I didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. She only sucked my dick. Oh, yeah, that little nobody that's worth about $130 million now. Going back to AI. 26 years ago, or 25 years ago, actually, China comes into the World Trade Organization because of him. All right? Back then, some 10% of Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. That's right. Now, nearly 70%. Okay. What's going on in the United States? Kids are dropping out of college. They can't find jobs. It's a country of 343 million versus 1.4 billion. And they're very high-tech and AI addicted. Beijing is pouring in hundreds of billions of dollars into the AIs. Let's go back to January last year. DeepSeek. DeepSeek? What's a DeepSeek? Oh, a Chinese AI company that I don't need 100 million to do it. We did it for 6 million. China's going to lead the world in AI. Hey, they're leading it in EVs, aren't they? Oh, BYD? Oh, what's a BYD? All right? People have no idea. As I said, the 20th century was the American century, but the 21st is going to be the Chinese century, because the business of America is war and the business of China is business. We're talking before about all the war shit going on. So China's going to take the world over in AI. And AI, love it, hate it, it's the future. It's the future. Good, bad, ugly. Again, it's not what you like, what you want. It's what is in trend forecasting. So that's what we see the AI, but the dot-com bust. The dot-com bust, if the United States goes to war with Iran, you're going to see Brent crude go over $100 a barrel. Equity markets will crash. Economies will crash. It won't be the Great Depression. It will be the greatest depression. But don't worry. When all else fails, they take you to war.
Well, Gerald, this has been a fantastic conversation. Before I let you go, tell us about the Trends Journal and where people can find that.
Well, they could go to trendsjournal.com, and you have that link, right?
Yes, there is a coupon code. Use the code commodity, and you will get 10% off at checkout.
And that will cost you the grand total of about $2.50 a week, pennies a day. And you look at the magazine, this week is over, 240 pages. Again, from high-tech science to AI, technocracy, economics, geopolitics. We give you every health, fitness. We give you, it's a magazine. You read what you want. You can listen to it. Again, it's a magazine. And I'm not bragging. There's no magazine like it in the world. Go to our YouTube, Gerald Celente, Trends Journal, and look at the comments from the people. Journalism is dead. Dead. Oh, Slick Willie Clinton, right? Federal Communications Act, 1996. He deregulated the communications industry. There were thousands of independent radio stations, television stations, radio stations, newspapers, on and on and on. Now, 6 companies control 92% of the media. They're prostitutes, media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and government whoremasters. It's not news. They give you one side. We give you everybody's side. Like what's going on with the Israel war. Oh, I told you, we subscribe to Haaretz. Oh, we go to Jerusalem Post, Times of Israel, Ynet. Oh, God forbid, we also go to Press TV, Tehran Times, IRNA, ISNA. Want to hear what the Iranians have to say. Oh, we go to Arab News, Al Jazeera. Oh, we want to hear what the Arabs have to say. Oh, we go to France 24, Euronews, etc., Guardian, BBC. Want to hear what they have to say, what the Americans have to say. And then we go, this is what they're saying. We give you all the sides. This is our analysis. And here's our forecast. Nobody does that. They give you one side and say, swallow my crap. And no advertisements in the Trends Journal. Nobody tells us what to do. And we're doing everything we can to help people prepare, prevail, and prosper during these dangerous times ahead. And again, look at your top trends, and look at the cover this week. It's we've been calling it. Do we get it right all the time? We're human beings. Of course not. But we'll put our track record up against anybody in the world. And thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. I will put a link in the description below to the Trends Journal. Be sure to check it out. Thank you so much, Gerald. As always, it's a blast having you on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. This episode brought to you by ARC Silver Gold Osmium. They have some great prices on silver bullion products. You can see them on your screen right now, subject to change. While supplies last, reach out to owner Ian Everard today at 307-264-9441 or by email at ian@arcsgo.com, and make sure to tell him that Commodity Culture sent you, and pick up your Stack Silver Not Fiat t-shirt today using the link in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Commodity Culture is a series on commodities and natural resources. If you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're always up to date with the latest episodes.